two on the Nevada side and two on the Arizona side. Originally, these tunnels were 56 feet in diameter and then coated with 3 feet of concrete. But today they are 50 feet in diameter, currently standing in a diversion tunnel on the Nevada side, about here. That yellow line indicates the tunnel we just walked through. And you can see it out that window there. And if you look up, you can see some of that original concrete lining I was just talking about. Once these tunnels were completed, they took the earth and the rubble and they built 2 earthen dams, coffer dams. The upper coffer dam, 100 feet tall, to force the waters of the Colorado River into the tunnels. Downstream, they built the lower coffer dam, 65 feet tall, to prevent the river from backing up into the project. Once the coffer dams were completed, they then dug down 100 and then they built the Hoover Dam. Now, once the Hoover Dam was completed, they sealed off the entranceway to each tunnel with steel gates to allow Lake Mead to fill. Downstream, they blasted away the lower coffer dam to restart the river. The upper coffer dam is underwater in Lake Mead. Once these tunnels had dried out, they poured a 400-foot concrete plug into each tunnel to seal off the upper half. So we no longer use this area in yellow. And the area down below remains open and is still used today. The outer tunnels are connected to our spillways. Our spillways kind of act like that overflow drain in your bathtub. They're situated 27 feet down from the top of the dam along the sides of the canyon walls. And for those of you on this side, I do have a diagram if you care to look. Here's a spillway. It has a connecting tunnel at a funnel right over that tunnel plug. So when our lake gets full or reaches capacity, water goes over the sides of our spillways on both sides, down the tunnels, and downstream. Water never goes over the dam. Let me give you a couple of visuals why. Power plant, Highway 93. You can see why that would be bad. We've actually only used our spillways twice. First time was in 1941. It was the first time the lake filled to capacity. It took 6 years to fill, and we tested them out. Then in 1983, due to excessive spring runoff, it went over the sides of our spillways for 62 days straight. I actually have a picture of that over here on this side. Care to look? This is our Nevada spillway. At that point, the top of Lake Mead was only 7 feet from the top of Hoover Dam. Now, we actually could have sent more water over the sides of the spillways. Those tunnels were only about halfway full. But our main priority here is flood control. That year, all the dams were full, and there was some flooding downstream. That's the number one thing that we're here to prevent. So flood control is number one. Number two is water storage for irrigation and human consumption. Number three is power. Power is simply a byproduct. We can only produce as much electricity as water we can allocate downstream. So we're a peak performance power plant. I'll talk a little more about that later. 1983. Now our inner tunnels are connected to our intake towers. There are 4 intake towers in Lake Mead, 2 on the Nevada side and 2 on the Arizona side. Water flows into these intake towers and then drops into a 30-foot diameter pipe called a penstock. Penstock is just another word for a very large pipe. You're currently standing over one of those 30-foot diameter penstocks in a diversion tunnel. I'm sure a lot of you are feeling rumbling or hearing rumbling in your ears. That is the water going through that pipe. You can have up to 88,000 gallons per second. Water goes through these pipes around the dam, through the canyon walls, into smaller 13-foot diameter penstocks toward the generators. From intake tower to generator, the water drops about 250 feet. I get enough speed to spin our turbines. Water's hitting about 60 miles per hour. From there, the water goes into the tail race and downstream. I'm sure a lot of you are also enjoying how nice and cool it is down here. Water going through that pipe is about 53 degrees. We take it in 300 feet from the bottom of the lake, so that's above the silt, low enough and cold enough that no fish swim in. Most of our fish are surface dwellers. So we need to maintain the temperature around that pipe. So we have these air pipes here. We actually circulate the air throughout these canyon walls in the power plant, and that's how we get our air conditioning. At this point, I'm going to lead us back to the elevators and up to the power plant. Please wait for me before exiting the room.
Any questions so far? That plug in this tunnel is pretty much right behind, oh, you can't see in this room, right behind that wall over there. Almost immediately behind that. Those four structures that you see on the lakeside, yes, it's something at the bottom. And yes, so it's also how small, what increases, intensifies the pressure is how it drops, and also the pencils get smaller and smaller, so it increases the pressure as well. As far as
That is a giant 30-foot. Is that not insane?